I am Counsel Bittaye from the Ministry of Justice. For example, regulation, my counsel from Ministry of Article National Assembly highlighted it, and this is a concern for me as well. If you look at the compulsory, the mandatory registration of, journalists, I believe even lawyers, we are actually registered by the General Legal Counsel. It's our professional, body, not a Ministry of Justice. So it should be having what we call it, an independent, council that is going to register and certify people to practice. That's why every lawyer, every year, you need to get what we call a practicing certificate to practice. Because you are from that sector, will be able to determine whether or not you have followed the professional standards or not. Imagine PURA is actually regulating journalists, which, I'm sorry to tell you, but they might not, the person who is actually regulated might not even be professional of that, to be part of that profession to determine whether or not this has met the professional standards or not. Because you are regulating different sectors at the same time. You are regulating energy, you are regulating other bodies. So at the end of the day, there might be a possible risk of even, interfering with whether or not they have. Because my concern was when you raised about the Schedule 2, you made mention of prohibited content. So that raised a concern, and it's the regulator who is going to determine that. The danger of cherry picking is very high. You can look at this particular statement from a journalist, but because it's associated with the ruling party, you decide to say that no, it doesn't amount that, because it's subjective to PURA, not objective test. That's my worry. PURA determined it based on objective test. It's a subjective test, not objective test. So the danger of being, being biased between the players is too high. So I will prefer this particular registration of journalists be referred to the council.
So the other question is on the issue of the overreach that you're talking about in terms of the license, the registration of journalists. If you look at the provision of Section 23, and it's important, it's good that you are bringing these issues, because we see it as the registration is for record keeping and compliance with regulated services. If you are regulating a service, you want to know, today we are regulating communication, telecommunication. We want to know who are the technical professions that are handling our data, who are the ones responsible for all those issues there. It is a record keeping purpose. And we made it categorically clear in the regulation that it doesn't amount to a license. If you don't have a license, you cannot just rely on the registration and say, oh, you have a registration of the authority and that automatically grants you a license. You have to go through the professional certification to get your license to practice journalism. So it's completely two different things. So that is what we are doing. But again, it's open. This is a validation workshop. We want to get this type of feedback. If there are any issues that we can improve on them, we can deal with it.